Hello Aries, happy Sunday. Welcome to your daily focus tarot. So, Four of Swords. Don't do anything you would regret on your deathbed. Okay, that's this particular Four of Swords, and some of the other Four of Swords mention this, although it's typically thought of as the card of deep thinking, needing to meditate, to contemplate, to really get a better grip on the situation, a better handle on the situation. The Magician in the reverse, and you do need to think about this situation. The Magician in the reverse, this talks about being out of touch with reality, having a confusion in regards to your purpose, having creative blocks, not feeling prepared, not really having all of the skills that you need in order to start down this new path. It can also talk about manipulation or like closed circuits of communication. So there is something, there's this competition for the happy home, for the union, for there's some sort of like you're really trying to fight for this. You're really struggling to fight for it. You want this union. You want this healing within the union. You want the dreams and the reality to integrate and to intermix. And there is, with the 10, there could be an ending to this cycle and a new beginning that leads to that happy home. 10 of Cups talks about emotional satisfaction, the happy home. Here we've got 2 of Cups, and we're trying to get that healing. But there is, you could have been feeling unprepared for moving in with somebody else, or being in a relationship, and you could be brainstorming ways to heal this situation, or you could just be fighting for it because you really want it, even though there's competition. The Lovers here, this is talking about, and notice the difference between the two cards. The Lovers, this is talking about choosing the path that leads you toward your alignment. It also talks about actual lovers. So it's talking about the choice between two people. And if it's talking about the choice between two lovers, one of them is a healthier choice for you than the other. One of them is not as dramatic. They're not as player-like. Five of Wands can be, if we're talking about a person, Five of Wands would be like a player energy. Like they're trying to create drama. They're trying to create fights between people. They're trying to get people to be jealous and sort of fight for them out of jealousy, that type of situation. So, if there's the choice between two people, there's one who's going to be more harmonious than the other. But to me, this was more about like the living situation, like you really feeling unprepared for how to negotiate certain things in the living situation. You have to look at whether it's a roommate or it's somebody you're romantic with. You have to look at setting up shower schedules, sleep schedules. Are we going to have 2 sofas? I don't want to get rid of my sofa. The other person doesn't want to get rid of theirs. So what are we going to do? We don't have space for 2 sofas. That's just one example. When you're living with another person, it's all about compromise. And we've got Temperance in the reverse too. And this talks about, quarrels in relationships. It talks about that frustration and that imbalance, that going to extremes in the quarrels, going to excess. And the way to deal with that is to have patience with yourself, to have patience and compassion with yourself, to have patience and compassion with the other person, to look at, what is a priority, really, in the relationship. Is it a priority to squabble over a sofa? Or, over when two people shower, and is there going to be enough hot water for both people to shower in the morning or at the same time of morning? Is that what's actually important to you? Or is the other person being happy important to you? And what is really important to them? Is your happiness important to them? Or are they kind of a player? If you're choosing between two different people, look at the person who is, I didn't set out for this to be romantic, but look at the person, I mean, it obviously is a romance reading. Look at the person who not only chooses their own happiness, but they also choose your happiness some of the time, right? You can't be happy all of the time, and the other person can't be happy all of the time. There's a compromise. But if you're choosing between two people and that's what you need to do, then you want to look at the person who they're willing to work with you. They're willing to negotiate with you. That's the person who loves you. And that's the person who you should value and who you should be with. If it's a situational thing that's affecting the happy home where there's a conflict, really look at what the priority is. Is the priority, using the sofa example, is the priority to keep the sofa, or is the priority with the relationship? If it's to keep the sofa, then maybe the relationship isn't that good to begin with and it needs to end. Maybe it's just not worth it to you, or to the other person it's not worth it. So this breakdown in communication, the key to it is having patience with each other, having compassion with each other, and looking at what is the real value here. In the example of the two sofas, would it be the sofa that's the real value, the real priority in life, or would it be the relationship and the other person? You have to negotiate in relationships. So if you were feeling really unprepared for it, or if you were living in sort of a fantasy world, really think about that. Really think about the person who, if you're making the choice between two people, the person who also values you. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.